What's going on, everybody? This is Scott, also known as ChaChingKing, and today I'm going to take you into my store, and I'm not going to share with you the big sales or the things that made tons of money. We're going to dive into the back end of my store, and I'm going to show you all the stuff that hasn't sold. And we're going to try and figure out why it hasn't sold, because some of this stuff has literally been in my eBay store for years. So let's go ahead, dive right in, and let's take a look at what didn't sell. The first thing I want to do is show you how to get to your listings and display the ones that have been listed the longest. You start at the Seller Hub, and you're going to drop down to where it says Listings, and we're going to click on the Active Listings. We're going to click where it says Start Date, and that will take us to the oldest things in our store. One of them is real obvious, are the mop pads. This listing, remember I've redone this one several times, is from 2016. And the reason is because I have thousands and thousands of them. This is a good listing. This one still sells. The original Baird's, look at this, cracks me up. The original Mrs. Baird's clips, I got those at the Goodwill bins, but I had a big bag of them. And I think I am down to my last set. So that's in here because I really sell that one at Christmas. One set, it'll sell this year. All of these, they belong in my store, but I need to take a hard look at them. We bought out an auction in 2020. It was 6-site. It was in Dallas. It was through Rosen Systems. And we have sold a ton of these. But the Piedra pants, I had so many of them that at this price point, they are not selling fast enough. So when I look at what's been in my store for a long time, sometimes they're just bad buys. This wasn't a bad buy. I just had hundreds of them, and I've got them priced too high to move as fast as I need to move them. So this is a listing that I would end up working on, and I'm probably going to come in here and drop the price of each one of these. If you haven't done this before, when you're looking at your active listings, and I can come over here and you see the pencil, I can click on that right there, and I'm going to drop these to $34.99. And I don't have to open the listing in order to change these. I can change them by clicking on that right there. All right, so we changed the price on all of the 6-site. Let's roll down here a little bit. On these flags, that was actually in response to a Facebook Marketplace ad, and I bought out the remnants of a place that had a ton of flags. These are some of the last ones left. Again, the 24 pack is probably too expensive. Annan is a great brand. I've sold a lot of these at $89.99, but we're coming up on 4 years, so let's go ahead and drop that to $69.99. The next one I'm going to open for you because I think this thing is super cool. I've got it priced at $70 and it has no movement at all. But look at how cool this thing is. This is a gunpowder flask that has been converted into a lamp. And so maybe this price is too high. I just have standard shipping on it at $6.99. So it's not the shipping. Perhaps it's the price on this. But here's the deal. I think this may be one of those times where I got high on my own supply and I have priced this according to how much I like it. And I can be guilty of that just like anybody else. But if you look here, this was listed over 3 years ago. Oh, whoops, I'm looking at the wrong one. Over 3 years ago. It's not worth $70. It doesn't matter if I like it $70 worth. It's not worth that because it hasn't sold. So we will drop the price of that and see if we can't get some movement on it. The next one is a swing jacket. Look how cool this thing is. Again, what you're going to find when you go through your store, you'll see a trend that fits you. For me, like sometimes I really like things and I can't imagine it not being worth a certain amount, and I will put that amount in there. And because we kind of have a list it and forget it pricing model, and a lot of times the things will sell after a couple of years, But you have to admit that once you've passed up 3 years, you're probably hanging on a little bit too tight. So this is super cool, super nice, but it isn't worth what I'm asking. So I can go in here and drop the price on this. The other thing that I'm looking for when I go through here is sometimes it's just a bad ad. Sometimes I've listed things in a way that it's just not a good ad. And so I'm watching for that. I'm watching for poor pictures or maybe missing pictures. But occasionally you need to drop into the back end of your store and check out your prices. On some of these, you also need to make sure that you have your SKU in there, because if it's been listed for a long time and this SKU has disappeared, you better make sure you can find it before you drop the price. If you want to make sure that you can sell something, if you want to make sure something sells right now, today, have it somewhere that you can't find it. That's when it'll sell. This is another one that I thought these were going to be worth a lot more than they are. These are team worn shorts, and I narrowed down the year, but I have had absolutely no movement on these whatsoever, so I've never even had an offer on them. So again, we're at over 3 years. I have them so far overpriced that nobody even makes an offer. So it would be time to drop the price on that significantly and see if somebody doesn't make me an offer on them. A lot of our items are going to sit for a long time. Like this one right here, the Woolsey Register. This is a car badge. This might sit for a long time because you're waiting for a very specific buyer. And it doesn't take up any room. Things like that don't bother me. Just because something's been there a long time, that in and of itself isn't necessarily a reason to drop the price or liquidate it. Sometimes when you go through here, some things just don't fit your store anymore. And if that's the case, then you need to move on. The other thing to check is this right here. And when you look, is how many views have you had? I think, what is it, the last 30 days, and how many watchers does it have? And if in the last 30 days something isn't getting any views, like these cufflinks here, and they've been listed for over 3 years and they've had 1 view in the last 30 days, I mean, I've got to take a hard look at that and think, does that even fit the store anymore? There's just a few lessons I want you to get today. One is how to do it, how to go to the back end of your store. 2, what to look for, how long it's been listed. And you got to make a decision whether or not it's still worth it to keep it there. And if not, what are you going to do with it? You're either going to drop the price, change your shipping, or take it out completely and donate it to somebody else. Improve your pictures, improve your description, do something to make the ad better. The other thing that I want you to do with this video today is, you know, last week I think my title, I'll put the thumbnail up here, but I think it was 13 listings and it was over $3,000 worth of stuff. And my fear for anybody who's new, who's watching this, you can get this skewed perspective watching someone like me, and you think that everything always works out great. That we go to sales, we spend $4, and we pick up $400 worth of stuff. And the reality of it is, lots of us have, and maybe mine's the worst, maybe that's what you'll walk away with, but lots of us have stores or closets that look a lot like this. That there are things that we bought that we thought would do great, or that we thought were way more valuable than what they were. And we end up with things that sit for a long time. I want you to walk away from this with a little bit of reality that, man, Melody and I are not perfect at this either. We make purchasing mistakes. We make listing mistakes. We make pricing mistakes. And we make shipping mistakes. We learn as we go. We are way better at buying now than we were in 2020. But we still make mistakes. If you're brand new and you're just getting started, and especially if you watched my video last week and you think that that's how it works, that you can spend just pennies on the dollar and you're always making money and getting rich, it isn't that way. And in fact, it's not that way most of the time. Most of the time, it's just regular stuff. So remember that when you're getting started, it is perfectly okay to make mistakes. Have a plan for those mistakes. How are you going to go back into your store and clean that up and move things so that you're not looking at things 30 years from now that aren't worth anything? Remember that when you are watching videos of people just like me, that we tend to show the best stuff to the viewers because that's what the viewers normally want to watch. I'm going to create this video, but it won't surprise me a bit if the viewers don't pick this one as much to watch, because there's not great big exciting stuff in here. It's like, oh my gosh, look what Scott and Melody sold. This is a different kind of video, but I want it to be realistic for those of you that are out there, and it gets discouraging to think that you're never going to get to that level. We aren't at the level of last week all the time, every day, all day. It doesn't work like that. So I hope that you find this oddly encouraging, and I hope that you find it at least interesting how to get to this and to take a look at what's in your store and some ideas of what you can do with it. I appreciate you watching. I'm going to see you real soon on the next one. Bye.